So the question on everyone's mind, or should I say the questions on everyone's mind, when is this Bitcoin cycle going to top out? Are we going to get an altcoin rally? Is it going to be hard? Is it going to be fast? Is it going to be quicker than usual? Is it going to be short-lived? Or are we going to get a slow grind past total three when we break the previous all-time highs of 2021, slowly pull back and then run into 2026? They're all valid questions. And I've been chatting to a couple of friends on this. Been chatting to Tyler Hill, to Cade O'Neill, and I've been chatting to Invest with Doc, and they've got their opinions. And one thing that we are in unanimous decision with is that we will get an altcoin rally, some kind of altcoin pump at some point, because all of the metrics are lined up for us to get that pump, and that hasn't happened yet. So we're calling it the late rally. A couple of these guys think that we're going to get a slow pullback and a run into 2026. Ultimately, I haven't got a clue, guys, but one thing that I want to focus on in this video is mid-October. And I've been focusing on mid-October for a long time on this channel because we predicted down here exactly how long we thought the Bitcoin cycle was going to be going into 2025 and when we thought that it was going to top out. How did we do that? We predicted based on previous cycles. Is it an exact science? No. However, we've got 6 weeks until mid-October when we put this prediction in. Going back years now, guys, we put this prediction in, and I'm going to show you the method in my madness. Ultimately, it's probably not going to play out exactly the same because markets rhyme, they never repeat. Nothing's exactly the same. If I can predict this, lots of other people can predict this. If lots of other people can predict this, lots of other people will predict the top. If lots of people predict the top, everyone will win. It is just not possible. So ultimately, that's why the markets catch you out. And I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios as to how this could run. Because if we get a push, a real fast push, and if we get a push going into the next 6 weeks, into mid-October, that could be your alt season. Come back, put in a lower high, and then the start of a bear market. We just ultimately don't know, and that's the importance of having an exit strategy. So there's lots of questions there. I'm going to answer each and every single one of them as much as possible, if I can even remember them all. Let's dive into what we actually think about how this alt season could play out. And one thing that you need to understand is this is not an exact science. It's a bit uncanny the way that it's played out in previous cycles. And I'm going to show you that. If anyone that's new to the channel, it might actually blow your mind. However, take it at face value because we don't know when the top's going to be. We can't pick tops. We can't pick bottoms. If we did, we would be multimillionaires. We'd be multi-billionaires. So ultimately, we can just look at past data, analyze previous data, and look at sticking points from what's happened in the past to understand exactly, firstly, where we are in the macro cycle. Secondly, where we are as far as the technical cycle is concerned. So this has been a long time running. And I was going back on my channel. As soon as I started my channel, I was doing these exit strategies, and I predicted once we put in a low for Bitcoin that we could estimate going forward how long the next cycle is going to be as far as an estimation is concerned. So what does that mean and why is it important? We can estimate the top of a cycle. We can't predict the top of the cycle. Nobody can predict the top of a cycle. If you do, it's like putting the lottery on and winning. So you have to build your exit strategy within your plan as the cycle progresses. Now, there's a red herring on this because part of my strategy was once Bitcoin had run, then we wanted altcoins to run. Once we got a break, once we got a close of the previous all-time high of total three, dominance started dropping, dollar started getting weak, I would start scaling out my position. This is the red herring. This is total three. Hasn't happened yet. So one thing that's happened is this indication is given me around about mid-October. Around about mid-October for altcoins to start running, for Bitcoin to top out. Roughly, could be a few weeks late. Potentially, hopefully, it's not a few weeks early. So what does that mean? We go back, and how did I identify this? We looked at previous cycles. So we looked, and we'll go back all the way back to this cycle here. So here's the bottom, $149. That was back in the 12th of January 2015. So you've got the 12th of January 2015, it put in a bottom, and then we went all the way to the bull run of 2017. We put in a top. Now you can see this top here. This was in December 2017. Now I want to show you Ethereum in December 2017. What happened? Just go back to the Ethereum chart. This is 2017. 2017, Ethereum topped out in January 2018. So the liquidity went from Bitcoin into Ethereum. Bitcoin put its top in December 2017. Ethereum put its top in 2018. How did that differentiate between the next cycle? We can look at the next cycle. So that lasted 152 weeks, all the way from this low, all the way to its bull market high, 152 weeks. December 2017, it topped out. Ethereum topped out one candle later in 2018. Bitcoin dropped really hard in 2018 as Ethereum started pushing through. Next, we had the bear market, and that was from the all-time high all the way down here to the bear market low, Look where it hit, 200 weekly moving average. So it hit the 200 weekly moving average. How long did that last? That lasted 52 weeks. So we had a 52-week bear market from its high to its low. Then we had the next bull run. There's the low, 2,981. Then where was the high? This was 2021. Can anyone remember this? 2021. So we had 152 weeks on this cycle, same as this cycle, 152 weeks. Then we went into a bear market. We come back down. We pushed up in 2021. We put in the all-time high, 69,679 on the Binance exchange. And then we started pushing down, pushing down, pushing down. And then what happened? We had a bear market. We put in a low. How long was that? 52 weeks. Exactly the same as this one. So we've got 152, we've got 52, we've got 152, we've got 52. And this is where I started building in my exit strategy and saying that we've had 152 weeks for the previous two cycles. Previous two bear markets have been exactly 52 weeks. So we can predict 152 weeks going forward, and we've got 6 weeks left. And that's why mid-October is such an important level for me. Now, what is the caveat of this is, have we got enough time for a break, for a close of total free and then an alt season rally? If we do it, it's going to be hard, it's going to be fast. And I'd said once we've got a break, once we've got a close the previous all-time high of total three, I was going to use 10 to 12 weeks to scale out. I'm kind of thinking a little bit differently now, but I want to see how the market runs, because if we don't get that break, if we do get that pullback, what Tyler and a couple of these other guys were saying, where we'd get an alt season rally, which is going later on in the year, sounds a little bit more likely. And I'd have to adjust my analysis, adjust my mindset, adjust my thesis, what I've had for the last couple of years, and then start predicting based on whatever the market's showing me at the time. Because ultimately, as long as this is happening, we're going to bring the Bitcoin dominance into it. So we bring the Bitcoin dominance. Where is it? Bring it up. BTC.D. We're going to bring the Bitcoin dominance into it. And then we can look at that and why this is important. So you can see it's been in an ascending channel, an ascending wedge even. An ascending wedge is a bearish pattern. How long has it been an ascending wedge? It's been an ascending wedge for the whole of the bear market. This has been outperforming during the bear market. That's because the ETFs, because of the inflows, because of the adoption of Bitcoin. It's just been pushing up and pushing up and pushing up. Does it all the time, pushing up and pushing up. That is a bear market. That is a bear market. What happens? You get a bull market down here when Bitcoin dominance drops. That's a 2017 alt season. You've got 2021 alt season down there from the top all the way to the bottom. So one thing that you can see first and foremost is diminishing returns. We've got more cryptocurrencies. There's less liquidity going into the cryptocurrency, but there's more liquidity overall in the market. You can see as we're getting lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, signaling that we are going to get diminishing returns. So first and foremost, how big's this alt season rally been so far? From its top all the way down here, we knew it was going to hit this support, 12.37%. We want Bitcoin dominance to drop all the way down here, and we've got two areas. First area is 48.97%. The second area is 50.93%. This 50 mark is going to be a big number. I'm going to stick this on here, actually. This 50 mark is going to be a big number. Why? Firstly, it's psychological. Secondly, that is a 200 weekly moving average. So you've got 200 weekly moving average there. Expect to get a reaction there. That could be the end of alt season, or we could get something like this. Bounce, bounce, bounce. If we got something like this, what's that? That's going into 2026. That means a few of these guys, they're right. So we ultimately, between us, collectively don't understand, but we can talk about it, we can analyze, and we can actually chat about exactly what we think is going to happen, because they've put a couple of ideas in my mind and it's made me think a little bit differently. But ultimately, I want to see how mid-October plays out, whether we get some kind of a pullback, because we're going to be governed by stimulus, we're going to be governed by rate cuts, we're going to be governed by if any of these bills get passed through positively, and if crypto gets adopted in a positive way, that's going to be news, that's going to be catalysts, that's going to drive altcoins and give confidence to the market. So we've got quite a bit in dominance to drop. That's good for me. We haven't broke total three. I haven't scaled out of my altcoins because of that, stupidly, but I had to have an exit strategy in place. So we are 10.77%. We're exactly 108 billion away. That could just be one green candle. Look at these. Look at the size of these candles here. How much is this from the bottom to the top? 133.41 billion. 133.41 billion. What about this one? 90 billion. So just one of these green candles is a green candle that can push price above. And this is a bull pennant. So you can see as we're rising up towards the all-time high, that's a bull pennant. And the other thing that we looked at as well, just to give us an indication as to where we are as far as risks concerned outside of crypto, was the Russell 2000. You can see this thing is slamming up and slamming up. It's just gone through the 786 like a hot knife through butter, and it's coming back to test its all-time high. When the Russell 2000 breaks its all-time high, that'll coincide with the total 3 breaking its all-time high. And that'll coincide with a fast on-risk rally. And that's exactly what I'm waiting for. So is this going to get rejected at this level? That's what we're waiting for, because this has been a big push. And potentially you need some kind of a pullback, some kind of a cool off before you come back up and start pushing through. And if that happens, that's going to take time. So that means that my October 2016, mid-October 2016, will be completely invalidated if that happens. So can you see, you look at all these different scenarios to try and estimate and understand exactly what could happen, but ultimately the markets move and we have to move with the markets continuously. We have to adapt to the markets continuously. So I'll be watching this all the way with you guys. We're going to see how mid-October plays out. We're going to see what happens as far as the interest rate cuts concerned and whether we'll actually get a 50 basis point. I don't think we'll get a 50 basis point. The markets don't think we'll get a 50 basis point. Poly markets don't think we'll get a 50 basis point. But ultimately, who knows whether we'll get an emergency rate cut, because we need one. Jobs numbers are coming bad. Non-farms coming bad. We had negative sentiment as far as the stocks were concerned. Guess what? On risk rallied against it. How did we know that? We looked at the others chart against Bitcoin. Others chart against Bitcoin. This is the weekly. We're starting to push up. This is the top. This is cryptocurrency, high risk outside of the top 10. So forget your XRPs, forget your Ethereums, forget your Solanas, forget your Cardanos. All of these blue chips outside of that, we're talking about real risk here. Everything outside the top 10 against Bitcoin, and they're rallying. You look at on the daily, you can see they're rallying, putting in higher lows, putting in higher highs. So that's good. One thing that we've got was the golden cross on there as well. Everyone talks about the golden cross. So you've got a golden cross on the others chart, signaling the shift, signaling the shift. So we've got lots of things. We've got the total 3 waiting to break out in a bull pennant. We've got the Russell 2000 absolutely smashing its way all to the top. We've got the others chart, golden cross. Where's the others chart? Others chart against Bitcoin, golden cross. We've got the others chart. We had a golden cross a while back. We've taken back the 38.2% retracement. So can you see why it looks like we're shifting towards risk? But it's all about time and what Bitcoin's going to do. Is Bitcoin going to top out before altcoins? Because in 2021, when we come crashing down in 2021, that was November 2021, everything come crashing down together. Ethereum come crashing down together. All of the altcoins come crashing down together. Whereas in 2018, Ethereum ran after Bitcoin for a full month while Bitcoin topped out and pulled back into 2018. Ethereum rallied and then the big crash. So we're going to watch this together, guys. Let me know if you did enjoy this video. Let me know if you want more of this content. Subscribe to the channel. Get yourself in the Discord group. It is completely free. Got lots of charts to do. Go back and watch yesterday's video. I've done all of these charts and then I've done the macros to what to expect going forward, going into the weeks. I think Sunday analysis is quite important. So you can have your say there. It is completely free. Make lots of friends there. There's about 400 people in there. So it is quite active. I'll see you guys in the next one.